All right, good morning. Hi,
Hi.
Kelly. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
And we are live on social media. Just want to make sure everything is connected and we will get started. Okay, cool. Looks like it's up and working now. All right. Happy Monday. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Are you feeling ready for the holiday?
As ready as we're gonna get, right? I got a
uh,
few little things left to wrap, but yes. My
uh-huh.
my kitchen table is I'm looking forward to clearing it off tonight. I think the last Amazon package will drop this afternoon so that I can put away all the mess on my dining room table.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good feeling. I definitely wrapped everything this weekend, almost everything. I let the kids pick out presents for each other, so I have to go wrap their gifts to each other now. Um, but I am pretty much ready to go, and um, it's been a really, honestly, it's been kind of relaxing. I've not had a busy year this year. We're not doing anything. Just me and the kids, just gonna open presents, be at home, maybe watch some Christmas movies, drink some hot chocolate. It's gonna be so calm and peaceful. I'm really excited.
Oh, that sounds amazing. That's what if someone asked me, what are you doing Christmas Day? I said, I'm wearing comfies all day and not making moves, and it sounds amazing.
That's awesome. That's a great plan. Awesome. Well, today is our last Marketing Monday of the year. So I'm gonna take my glasses off. It's our last Marketing Monday of the year, and we're kind of recapping this year, looking back, looking at where we are, and looking ahead into 2026. I am surprised at how fast this year went by. For me, at least, I don't understand where it went. It's kind of felt like one really long month between like July and now. Just like the last half of the year just was like phew, for us. Do you feel that same way?
Do, and try every year to be very aware once September 1st hits because I
Mm.
love the fall. And I remember in September reminding myself to just be hyper aware because usually I can't wait for the leaves to turn and Halloween to come, but the minute Halloween comes, it's today, right? It's
Yeah.
the end of the year. So I
Mm.
was very aware in September, but yep, somewhere I just got along on the roller coaster ride in October, and it's just I don't even. I was trying to remember what did I do on Halloween. It just blew by so quick. I miss the
Mhm.
fall though when it does that.
Uh-huh. Me too. I do too. I didn't have time to do the fall things that we usually do. So it definitely made it go by really fast. It was just too quick. However, if you had like a rocky year this year, maybe the year going by fast is kind of a good thing for you. I know that for me, anytime I've been in a year of feeling overwhelmed, that those years feel long, and so it's kind of nice to feel it speed up a little bit. However, I don't want to wish it away. And I want to talk about what we learned as business owners, what we learned as marketers, what we learned wearing all the different hats that we wear. Um, and how can we take those lessons into 2026
Yeah.
with us? Um, for you, Kelly, I'm curious to know, was there anything that happened in your business this year that was like a major aha for you, or made you make a major directional change, for your business? Did you have any pivotal moments that you'd like to talk about?
Pivotal moments. I want to say I had two. I had two lanes because I have my work that I do with individuals, and then I have some B2B work that I do for teams. So I
Mhm,
feel like I kind of had one in both.
mhm,
For my work with women, I've always prided myself that I listen to my clients, and I think I've done a good job with that. A lot of my offerings and the way that I've approached my work over the last, gosh, 7 years now has been at the due to the response, due to the feedback, due to all of that. But I realized this year that I actually wasn't listening. I had my my main training program that I offer to women in leadership is the Elevate Her program. And last year, when I launched it last year, I started it as individual classes, and then
Mhm.
I thought I was listening by bundling it into one big package.
Mhm.
And it turned out that I was looking back and I was like, people have been saying for a little while they liked it better individual. It was too
Mhm.
much altogether. And I broke it back up now and it's back to individual. I did that for Black Friday and it'll stay either individual or bundled, but
Mhm.
I almost feel a little guilty because I like I said, I feel like I listened and I was listening, but I think I was hearing something different. So
Mhm.
sometimes, in our effort to try and make sure that we are doing the best for them,
Mhm.
we we can hear them but we're not, or we listen to them but we're not hearing them, I guess is what it is. And I kept thinking, but no, I'm giving you all of it because I know you need it. And they
Mhm.
weren't ready, especially leading other people. I hear from a lot of people, well, I don't lead a team, so
Right.
therefore the leading others is not something that's valuable for me. And in my mind, because I
Mhm.
know what's in it, I know
Mhm.
that you need to know this before you have a team, or you need to know this before you
Right.
leave little people in your household or
Mhm.
yourself, but or your clients. But and I know that because I know the material.
Right.
And instead of, it was kind of like one of those things where it knocked me down a peg to think, you know what, they're telling you what you want, and you're telling you what they want, and you should listen to what they want. So
Yeah. Audience listening is a real skill set, and it's not something that you should skip doing in your business just because it's a little intimidating, because it is intimidating if you ask for feedback, if you ask for reviews, if you do any kind of social listening, read the comments, whatever it is. If you do that, you've got to stay really open-minded to the fact that these are your people, the people who are supporting you actively right now. And while you may have one direction you want to move in, they may have something else that they feel they would benefit from, and then bridging that gap with really high quality messaging to make sure there's no ambiguity, there's no confusion, it's fully clear, it's very easy to follow next steps, it's very obvious what is being expected of them to do in those next steps. I love that you tried something and then decided to go back to what you were doing and recognizing that that was a better way to move forward for your business. It takes a lot of wisdom.
yeah, I think, it's one of the challenges, and I think for me is it was more a whisper than a shout. And I
Hmm.
think it wasn't that I was trying to ignore, or I mean, part of it was I felt like I was doing what was best for them, but it, it's in the nuance. And I think some of that is training your ear to hear differently, kind of like with coaching, right? Coaches learn how to hear what's underneath what the person is talking to them about, to be able to ask better questions, because we hear kind of what's unsaid when
Hmm.
we talk around it. And I hadn't thought of applying that skill to my marketing and things like that. And once I started hearing, I thought back on several conversations and thought, wow, that person told me twice about this, and how did I miss that? It wasn't like they came right out and said, well, I wish it was individual. And that was kind of the challenge, right? Is once I started paying different attention. um and I think that there's a lot of different skills that we have that can be applied in different ways that don't even occur to us until it smacks you in the face, and then it's like, oh, wait, I have the skill for that. I just wasn't applying it in the right way. So maybe I should think about this differently.
Right. Yeah, that's really good. Now, one of the things that I think we do naturally as Americans, I'm going to just say Americans because I very much think this is a cultural thing, is we get around the holiday season and we just go bonkers trying to be everything for everyone all the time. And I see people get burnt out. I see people, their sales will dip because they can't focus on their businesses because they're so focused on whatever holiday party or events that they need to go to or put on, and, buying the right dresses or, whatever it is that they need. What are your thoughts on balancing out the holidays with being a business owner, maybe even, a parent, a partner,
Yeah.
whatever hats you might have. How do any thoughts on balancing all that out? It's a lot.
Well, the first thing is you're never going to balance it perfectly, so throw that out the window, right? It's
All
going to be
right.
messy, right? We'll just not even think about that. Part of the overwhelm, I think, adds to the magic of the season. And
Hmm.
I'll explain that because I think at least for me, I know that you start anticipating how busy December is going to be before it even starts.
Hmm.
And while we were talking just before we hopped on, or at the beginning, wait, sitting around and lounging on Christmas Day, yes, I'm totally looking forward to that. But if December was slow and there was nothing going on, it wouldn't feel like December.
Hmm.
So I almost think that some of this is a self-fulfilled prophecy, right? Because we do pack it full. We want to make sure we check in with everybody before the end of the year. Meanwhile, we're probably going to see them next year, but it feels
Hmm.
like we have to jam I know this week I've got like every night there's something going on and we're trying to make sure that we see everybody, touch everybody for a minute around the holidays.
Hmm.
And business feels the same way too. I want to look at my financials, I want to look at my marketing, I want to look at my planning, I
Hmm.
want to do all of these things, which again is self-manufactured because it is just another month and I understand getting it done before the end of the calendar year if we've got money goals and we've got prep for taxes and things like that.
Right.
But I also think that we've probably done so much, probably more than we realize how much, because we have been jamming it all in. I know I've made a really long list. I've mentioned that this is my last actual meeting for the year.
Hmm.
So, I feel like it's a wonderful way to finish out the year, but it doesn't mean I'm clocking out at 9:30.
Right.
That's when CEO time starts.
Right.
Tina actually a couple years ago suggested that, and I thought, wow, that's kind of brilliant. I don't have a lot going on. And
Hmm.
last year I only did a few days, so this year I blocked off twice as many days from now, 2 weeks, obviously with the holidays in there.
Hmm.
But I've tried to really map out what I want to get done in
Hmm.
a way that helped me audit all of the things that I've gotten done so far and that I still need to get done.
Hmm.
But I know realistically I'm not going to get all of it done before the end of the year.
Right.
Um, and that's the mindset piece right there. I've kind of pushed the most important things that I need to get done before the end of the year to the top of the list. And then the
Hmm.
rest are kind of, wow, these would be really nice to have because it'll make my desk feel more organized or my computer
Right.
feel more organized or my brain feel more organized
Hmm.
before we kick off the year.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm even me, I'm trying to make sure that I keep my head in, even if I get two of those things done or even one, I it's busy, right? If I get one done, that's a wonderful thing. I've gotten something done that I don't have to take care of in January, and whatever lane that's in, I'll be starting off with one less thing to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it can be really hard to decide what to prioritize, what's the most important. And so I want to talk about that for a second. I know it's December, so if you go based off of like the Roman calendar, the January to December, then you're going to be needing to look at your financials, your legal, all your contracts, make sure everything is buttoned up, closed off, make sure your bookkeeping is all ready to go because you need to send out all of your employee tax forms and stuff in January. So you have to prioritize your financials as a CEO at the end of the year. And working on your business versus working in it means you're developing for the future of your business, right? And so there's a lot of things that can look like a lot of different things. It could be putting together a marketing plan. It could be putting together a financial goals, writing out KPIs, setting up some SOPs. If you um, have some systems in place that you want to hand off, if this is the year that you're going to choose to delegate, and really put that CEO hat on, then you're going to want some really good SOPs, standard operating procedures mapped out for you to hand off to whoever it is that you're going to be doing a handoff. Is there anything that you could think of in that category of that leadership and looking at your business to work on your business as a CEO? What else should they be thinking about first before jumping into the kind of more fluffy, fun things? Um,
I I think having a plan is very important. I
mhm,
know for me, if I'm just showing up each day with something in the back of my mind that I think I should have organized, it
mhm,
makes it much more difficult for me, one, to stay on track because I don't have a prescriptive list. I
mhm,
work best without I think I'll work on maybe this today. And then 10 o'clock, I spend a lot of time staring at the screen or out the window because I don't have something. For me, it's on a paper. Like I need to actually have written it down. I need something I can touch and feel so that
mhm,
I know I'm going to stay on track. Some
mhm.
people type it up, but I think, like you said, financials, I hate numbers. So that's the first thing I'll do today and tomorrow until that's done. Then that's done. And for me, that's an accomplishment all its own. If I can get all that done, it's like a sigh of relief because it's done. Then
Yeah.
the next thing is figuring out, okay, new year, exciting. What
Mhm,
am I changing? What are my main, and it can be in any department. For me, it's planning what services I'm going to provide.
mhm,
What am I really going to focus on for the year? And that might change during the year, but last year I did a really good job of honing down and figuring out, okay, this is who I'm going to serve and this is how I'm going to serve them. And
mhm.
just that decision is very powerful. I didn't have all of the answers of what I was going to serve them, and when and where, but I
Right.
knew who and what.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I
this year I'm
love
going to relook at
that.
that. Right?
Uh-huh.
There's comfort in knowing that
Mhm.
answer, and sometimes just the who might be the big lift, right?
Right,
Just figuring out really intentionally who it is.
right.
That's one
Absolutely.
thing. You always talk about that, the who, what, where, when, and I love that. And maybe we can't figure out all five or six, but
Right,
yeah, if that can be as, especially if you're a service provider,
right.
um, that can be so empowering and a weight off to start the year because one of your major questions, why is the other one? I would say if you haven't
Mhm.
spent time thinking about your why, because that will feed all of the others too.
It really does. And I think it's important to note that you may have done like a why driven statement for your business. Like you may have done the exercise, the 9 layers of why, or whatever. However, you get your why statement for your business, I think it's important to note that it's okay if your why changes. Like your life changes, it evolves. It doesn't stay the same year over year. So you might start your year off being motivated under the premise of, I don't have a choice. Maybe something happened, and no matter what, you have to keep your lights on. So you're just going to push forward and make it happen. Then you might get to the end of the year and kind of go, oh, I do have a choice. I push forward, and now my new why is not just to survive, but I want to thrive. And what that looks like is this, this, and this. And really getting very clear about what success looks like in 2026 for yourself. And even looking at where maybe you didn't balance your own energy well for your business in 2025 and going, how am I going to get ahead of that in 2026? Because we don't want burnout. We don't want people just dropping down like flies. Like we really want to make sure that what you set yourself up for is sustainable and hopefully scalable if you're up for growth in 2026. And I think that understanding why you are doing what you do helps. It's like a core foundation to the heartbeat of your business. It's really what helps drive it when you're fed up and done because maybe you had a bad experience with someone, and you just think, I cannot do this anymore. That why, that's the thing. It's got to be able to be stronger than your excuses, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so yeah, it really is the bedrock of so much. And I think it can feel overwhelming to go and do that activity for some,
Yeah.
especially if you one of the because I do the workshop for it, and I've done it for the business school a couple of times, and a lot of times the knee jerk reaction is, well, I'm doing this, my why is because I need to pay the bills,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a byproduct of achieving your why. That's a
Right.
result. You will earn the money whether you're in touch with your why or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's the byproduct, or the benefit of being clear on your why. And the more money you earn will probably be based on how clear you are on your why. Your why is more because I want to spend time with my family, or I want to get more fulfillment out of what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing, or there's a million different permutations. But to your point, that why may change. And you always need money, right? You
Yeah.
always are going to need a mortgage or a rent payment or a car payment, whatever it is. That's a stable statement. So
Right.
want to not feel overwhelmed with the why, because it really, when you become clear on it, you connect to your business, you connect to your
Mm.
clients, you feel like it's more of a living organism as opposed to just something you show up to do.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Now, with the last few minutes that we have, and before we sign off for the year, I love it. Come on, dad jokes. I'm here for them. See you next year. Anyway, before we do that, I want to talk about how we always like to do an exercise where we pick our one word for the year, and that one word is the thing that you hold on to. I know in the business school, we would, get a piece of paper or something, and decorate it with the word on it. And, I always pin mine up on my wall to remind myself. Last year, my word of the year was flow. And to stay in the flow, to be in the flow, to be open to whatever came. And I'm very glad that I did that because man, was last year so crazy for me. And then this year, my word was routine. And this year, I spent my time focusing on the value of the compound effect. And if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend. It's on our sisterhood list of reading materials. But the compound effect of consistency, and how when you show up consistently day by day, 90 days from now, you get to see the effect of all that consistent work. And so both in my own personal life and in my professional life, I focused on getting very consistent, very drilled in for the year, and practicing just getting better at the things that I do on a daily basis, like dishes. How do I actually want to do dishes? How do I actually want to do laundry? What systems in my life do I want to maintain? What's not serving me? And I cannot emphasize this enough. Who is not serving you? Who? Who do you need to part ways with? I cut off several very challenging relationships this year because it was wrecking my peace.
Yeah.
I can't function in my life if my peace is disrupted. So this year, my whole focus this year is going to be on and around my peace. That is my word for the year is peace for 2026, and creating that peace, protecting that peace, and showing up in that peace to the best of my ability, learning to slow down and be present is really important to me. What about you, Kelly? Do you have a word for the year?
I do. I do. And it's funny, I do Strengths Finder, and my word this year is my fourth strength. It's discipline.
Nice.
And it's funny because I was doing some reflecting and looking back on my notes and my planning, and I feel like that is an undercurrent in everything I do. But when I looked back over the last year, and probably if I'm being really self-aware and honest, the last 2 or 3 years, I have not been leveraging that strength. I've been
Mm,
I've been I've been squashing it for a variety of different reasons. I think, kind of to your point of relationships and things that you try to be a lot of things for a lot of people,
yeah.
and at the sacrifice of my self-discipline and my structure. So this year I'm going to be really intentional about taking that. Doesn't mean that you can't do all of the things that you want to do, but making sure that like you said, you protect that peace.
Mm-hmm.
I thrive and I feel better with and routine. Like I hear that and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it just makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Other people cringe, right? We all do, but
Yeah.
um the discipline to set healthy boundaries and to follow through on them and to do what I need to do, not at the expense of others but for the benefit of others, because when I'm disciplined and I'm in my zone, I show up
Mm-hmm.
much better for the people around me.
Yeah, same. Absolutely. And I think that it's important to note, like, for anyone who grew up with the word discipline being like synonymous to punishment, I'd like to bring clarity to that because those words are not synonyms. So they are not the same. Discipline and punishment are two very different things. Punishment is something that happens to you as a cause and effect. But discipline is something that you have to do in order to maintain. So something happening to you versus something that you are doing, like you're in choice of. So you can be really disciplined at being undisciplined. You could be really disciplined at being the opposite of what you want to be. And that might take some unlearning and relearning of something different or a different way of doing things. But being disciplined, another way to look at it is self-love, self-care. Because when you show up for yourself, and let's say it's you're looking at your nutrition, you're looking at your basic human needs. So your sleep. Are you sleeping consistently? Are you sleeping around the same time? Are you setting your body up for success to recharge and refuel? And then it's movement. Do you move your body? If not, go for a walk every day. Like, go do something to move your body because your brain needs you to move your body. Your heart needs you to move your body. Your body needs you to move your body. You got to get up and go do something for yourself. Nutrition. Are you eating things that are nutritionally dense? Or are you just eating a bunch of junk food that's giving you brain fog and making you stressed and making your heart rate go up and whoever knows, whatever else it might do to you because it's not even real food anymore. And then are you looking at your overall wellness? Are you your mental health, your financial health, your relationship health? Are you surrounding yourself with people who bring out the best in you? All of the things that go with becoming the person that you want to be start with being that person today and failing hard and fast at achieving that so that you learn how to become that person. But you have to start somewhere. So 2026 is a good year to become whoever it is that you want to become.
Yeah, well, and I look at it as a core element of leading yourself and leading by example. If I'm all over the place, and while I might be flexing my boundaries and doing all of the things for other people, what example is that setting? If
Mhm.
I'm encouraging others to be the example they want to see in others, and I'm being undisciplined about the
Mhm.
different things that I'm doing, then for me, it doesn't feel good at the end of the night. I
Right.
like structure and order and all of those things, but
Mhm.
structure and order is different than having discipline, because I can have lots of lists and lots of routines, but if I'm not actually following through with them and I'm, yeah,
Mhm.
inconsistent, there's just so many different pieces that ebb and flow. Our life ebbs and flow, and you can give yourself some grace and some space. I mean, I'm not immune to the things that come and are going to try and knock that down, but I
Mhm.
think that if I think about discipline first and follow through and things like that, um,
Mhm.
when I was younger I was very very disciplined. When I worked for others I was extremely disciplined because I worried about being a slacker. I worried about letting others down. I worried about all of the other people that my behavior affected. And as an entrepreneur now, I think that I worry about those things in different ways, so much
Mhm.
so that I need to point the mirror inward a little bit more and make sure that I'm doing all the things that I need to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love this talk today. Thank you so much, Kelly, for hopping on with me. Anybody who hopped on to watch us live, thank you for joining us. This is our last live of the year. We will come back in the new year with new content, new updates, all the trends of 2026. We're going to go over all of that in our first Marketing Monday of the year. So enjoy the holidays, be safe, and we'll see you in the new year. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.